Hello, I'm so glad you are joining us today. My name is Jenny Boyette, and I am the mom to 4 girls. 3 of them are triplets. And years ago, I met my good friend, Kathleen Edelman. Life was crazy in the Boyette household. So somebody told me I need to talk to Kathleen, who is a temperament coach. And boy, was that a lifesaver for us. So Kathleen is joining us. She's been doing this for over 30 years, and we want to unpack the temperaments a little bit. So thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
So temperaments.
Yes, tell us about.
Different than personality.
Okay.
And we really want to focus on that because they've been around for 2,000 years, Jenny. They date back to Hippocrates. So what the temperaments are, what he studied was that they fell into 4 different categories. And that's where people naturally respond to things. So when you're talking about the temperaments, they fall into the quadrants. The top 2 are extroverts, the bottom 2 are introverts. And what that means in and of itself is the extroverts talk before they think.
Yeah, like me.
Yeah, exactly. There's no filter. They just start speaking.
Yeah.
The introverts think before they talk. This is a processor, an inward processor. Their thoughts and emotions go inward. So again, sometimes they have too much filter. So we want to first and foremost break down the temperaments in extrovert and introvert. Then you have people and task. So when you're talking about the task-oriented people or child, they're people who want to get things done. They want to produce something. They want to accomplish something. And the people-oriented, of course, they want to connect. They want relationships. They put people over everything else. So the first layer of temperaments is this extrovert, introvert, people, and task. And that's where it starts because this is innate. Your temperament does not change through your lifetime. It is like your eye color or your fingerprint, where personality is constantly evolving.
Yeah.
So each quadrant has their own set of uniqueness, their own set of strengths and weaknesses, their own set of, what's special to each temperament. And that's really where it starts when you're thinking about communicating and getting to know another temperament.
Absolutely. Well, and I think the only thing my triplets have in common is their birthday. And that was the thing that you helped us with so much is learning what their different temperaments are. So, okay, well, let's take a closer look to the 4 temperaments. Let's start with the sanguine.
Okay. Well, the sanguine is the upper left-hand corner, and they are an extrovert that's people-oriented. So this is a person that's not going to be shy to share their emotions or feelings, and they're going to want to be around a lot of people. But what really makes them unique is their strengths and weaknesses. They are inspiring, they're encouraging, they're optimistic, they're fun to be around, they're great storytellers. And what's important to know that those are strengths is to also know their weaknesses. They can be too talkative, they can be obnoxious, over the top. Actually, they can interrupt a lot. So just knowing that starts to help you learn how to communicate with a yellow and help them learn about themselves. But I've brought some experts.
Yes.
I've brought some friends with me.
Yes.
And so let's hear it from them about their strengths and weaknesses.
Yes, and you may recognize one of these girls in there because it's one of the triplets. So let's take a look.
Yes, it is.
You can do this one.
Oh.
You can do this one. Just a simple little.
Nice.
Maybe like a.
Is that your yay dance? What do you think some of your strengths are?
My strengths are like being fun and energetic.
So much energy. Like sometimes I have too much energy for myself. I don't know what to do with it.
I fidget a lot with like my hands and my feet.
Just like jumping around, like.
Oh, like that? Yes.
I just love like being the crazy one and having fun with everyone.
Tell me about your friends.
Have a lot of them. They're nice to me. They play with me. They make me feel good.
Do you like to be alone?
No, not really. It bores me.
Yeah. So if you're thinking you're going to be alone, what do you do?
Go where people are.
Yeah. You're invited to a big party.
Okay.
Like a big party.
Okay.
You know no one.
Perfect.
Oh, that's perfect.
Perfect.
That was going to be my... Would you go?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? How would you do that, though? Like, you're walking in the door. What's the first thing you would do?
What's up?
What do you think about chores? Do you have any?
Yep.
What do you think?
Not so fun.
What's your least favorite thing to do?
I don't know, thinking. I don't think a lot.
Do you ever get in trouble for anything?
I don't think there's a day that goes by where I don't get in trouble.
Okay.
It's just, I'm loud.
Yeah.
Like, I even hear myself sometimes. Someone gave me a microphone one time.
Yeah.
I'm Batman.
And I was like, am I really that loud?
Mommy, come here for a sec.
You have a lot of energy. What's your least favorite thing to do?
I would believe to do homework.
Yeah. What do you think when somebody says make a 3, 5, 10-year plan?
I laugh.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing today.
Why did the dog cross the road?
Why?
Because he had to go to the doctor.
Oh.
I want to dance with somebody. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
What did the triangle say to the circle?
What?
You're pointless.
If there was one thing you could change about yourself, what would it be?
Anything?
Yeah.
Anything.
Anything.
I think it'd be dope if I had, like, wings.
That's funny, right? Like it was right on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah.
That's what I would not have said was wings, right?
Right.
But do you recognize, would you have guessed that that young lady would have said wings?
I might have because I live with that young lady and I'm yellow as well. So the two yellows are so interesting. I mean, there's some definite opportunities for growth for both of us.
And
both
would you
being
have said
yellow.
wings?
I would not have said wings, but I'm a more hopefully mature version of what that is.
Okay.
But I wasn't surprised that she said that. So yeah.
That's funny.
Well, let's move on to the cholerics. Tell us
Sure.
about the reds.
The choleric, the red, is the upper right-hand quadrant, and they are an extroverted, task-oriented person. So what you're going to see with a red in their strengths is that they're driven, they're independent, they're quick decision makers, and they're great delegators. And how are they going to know that? Because their weaknesses are they can be bossy, impatient, intolerant, dislike tears and emotions. So again, in order to see what I see in my office and to really learn the temperaments even visually and hearing, let's take a look at some reds.
Yes, I have one of those too.
Does everything have to be a competition? And I'm like, yes, and I'm going to win.
I like to be in charge and lead.
When do you like to be in charge and lead?
Always.
Always.
Yeah, I'm independent sometimes. And then, yeah, I like to be in charge.
I do not feel uncomfortable being in charge. It's something that if I see a need, I'm gonna go and fix it.
Do you ever raise your voice?
I think I do a little bit.
Yeah, I can come off as bossy, but it like gets the job done.
What would you say your best strengths are?
I'm a really hard worker. I strive to be like the best person I can be.
I feel like I can delegate. That is one thing that while I do have a tendency to take over, I at least give a person a chance before I do that. I can delegate it out, but then once they prove to me that they can't do it, that is when I start to take things back.
Okay. What do you think are some of the weaknesses that you struggle with?
Probably being bossy, impatient.
I'm not trying to be mean. I usually say that before I say something because now I'm like known as like the rude one. So before I say anything, I'm like not trying to be mean, but this needs to happen, like blah, 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 blah.
I do have a tendency to be bossy, which I mean, in some cases I'm like, dude, it works. Sometimes you just need that. But in others, they're like, okay, dial it back just a little bit.
Do you ever get in trouble?
Well, yeah. Sometimes I'll like want to be the leader and like a lot, and I'll just get really frustrated because like things aren't going as I planned or something.
Do you think that you're misunderstood a lot?
Yeah,
Yeah? Because of what?
the way I carry myself, I guess.
Yeah.
I just want to get to the gist. Like, I'd rather not talk about something for 2 hours. I'd rather say it in 7 words that like gets the point across.
Yeah. What do you think you want to do when you grow up?
Something with business.
Because do you want to be in charge of it?
Yeah.
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 Do you think you would be a good employer?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. If somebody is really annoying you.
I let them know.
Oh, do you?
Yes.
Yeah.
I let them know.
What would you say?
Stop!
Ooh.
Yeah, that was good.
That was a good one.
So, a little bit different, right? I
Yes.
mean, they're hard to miss.
Well, and I have two, as you know, in my household.
I do.
So you can start to identify the temperaments pretty early on. And my youngest, you definitely helped me identify her.
Well, again, when you really start to listen to understand and apply the temperaments, you can learn and identify as early as 9 months. But your little girl,
Yes.
right? She was like, what, maybe
About 14, 16 months.
when she was standing up in the crib, right?
Yes.
Saying, Mommy, Mommy,
Yes.
Jenny.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That's a little red.
Yeah, and I didn't even know she knew my name.
Yeah.
So.
Well, she was looking out of that crib thinking, how do I start to take control of this family?
Yeah.
Right?
She's been doing that ever since.
Exactly.
Well, let's go on to our melancholics and
Yes.
our blues. Tell us
Okay.
about them.
Well, the melancholy, the blue, is the lower right-hand quadrant. So this is an introvert that's task-oriented. So this, like I said, this is an internal processor, and they want to get tasks done, right? But they're in their strengths, they're very compassionate and empathetic, creative, but they're also very analytical and logical in their thinking. Those are some of their strengths. Some of their weaknesses, and these can be tough, they're critical, moody, judgmental. They can really take along every story remembering the negatives. So again, the best way to do this is to see it in action. So let's watch some of my blue friends.
Let's do it.
I hold high expectations for myself.
Do you?
I'm very sensitive. I'm like a perfectionist.
Yeah.
I just kind of feel a little bad for myself.
I like to be early rather than late. I want A's in all classes. I like to be safe than sorry. I don't like to mess up.
What happens when you do?
I can be kind of hard on myself.
Yeah. What do you think about like big crowds or noise or anything?
I'm not a big fan of noise.
Yeah.
I have a very high nervous system.
Okay.
I'm nervous about going to school, nervous about, usually I would just wake up and then get all stressed out.
What is your favorite thing to do?
Probably to read a book.
Really?
Yeah, I really like reading books. I read National Geographic.
You do? I bet you it gives you a lot of information.
I know the tallest building in the world,
What is it?
the Burj Khalifa.
I like the Harry Potter series. I read the whole series in a week.
Go fishing, swimming, soccer, guitar, makeup.
Wow.
Just-
Fishing.
yeah,
Yeah, what you
Just-
thinking when you're fishing?
good thoughts, positive thoughts.
Yeah.
Just relaxing a bit, just waiting to catch something.
And you're good just waiting because you're
Yeah.
doing something you like, right? You seem kind of like a rule follower. Are you?
Yes.
Yeah. What if somebody's breaking any rule?
I think they should be following the rule. But I'm not them and I can't make the decision for them.
What do you think you want to do when you grow up?
Probably like an engineer.
Really?
Yeah, I really like coming up with ideas and coming up with and building things and stuff.
What do you get in trouble for?
Not listening very much. I kind of, when I'm focused and zoned out on something, I don't listen at all.
Yeah.
Putting hands on my sister's school, not being quiet.
Really?
Yeah,
What are you doing not to be quiet? That surprises me.
I was just doing examples. I
Okay.
really do be quiet. Though.
Okay.
I really do be quiet. That's the opposite of the yellow, right?
Exactly. And she was just trying to follow the rules.
Yes.
I said, give some examples. So she was giving examples, right?
Right,
But you also had to love, I have a very high nervous system.
Yes.
Right? I mean,
Sweet
come
boy.
on, that is so blue.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely. Well, let's take a look at our greens. Or first, tell us a little bit about the
Sure.
green and the phlegmatics and what their strengths and weaknesses are.
Well, where you're going to find the phlegmatic green is in the lower left-hand quadrant. They are, now listen, an introvert that is people-oriented. So right there, you kind of feel like, something sounds a little off there. But you're talking about a person that thinks before they talk, but prioritizes people over everything else.
Yes.
And they make fabulous leaders of people, Jenny, because they're kind, they're considerate, they're great listeners, right? They're easygoing. And again, how are they going to know that? Because they're going to have to know their weaknesses. And this person can be extremely stubborn, they can be sarcastic, indecisive. But again, the best way to see that is to learn from the best,
Yeah.
right? Let's watch some of my green friends tell us.
That sounds great. Let's check it out.
Okay.
So your perfect day, what does it look like?
Oh, doing nothing.
Well, I will just watch TV. I would invite a friend over.
Tell me your absolute favorite thing to do.
Read.
Reed?
I like getting alone time, just having time to self-reflect.
What's the least favorite thing to do? What do you not want to do?
Most of the time, it's just get out of bed.
Interesting.
I mean, I don't like school.
Okay. What stresses you out?
Usually, like large groups of people.
I do not really like that much noise. So I like keep it quiet.
I enjoy smaller, like one-on-one interactions, but when I'm with a lot of people, I don't find it as pleasing.
What would you say some of your best strengths are?
Sleeping,
Yeah.
eating all the food,
Probably bringing like peace and joy to people.
easy going sometimes.
What are some of your weaknesses?
My mom says that I'm very stubborn.
Lazy.
Yeah.
I frequently have massive stack of laundry outside my room.
And then like laziness, or not laziness, just not the urgency to get anything done.
Okay.
Or if there's like chores and I have to like unload the dishwasher, like I will not be the first one on it.
And what are they saying to you?
Put away your laundry. Usually my mom is like, you've got all this laundry. This has been here for 2 weeks. Go put it away. I'm like, I just like to walk out in the morning and be like, wear this. Great, throw it on.
Because it's so convenient right there, all clean and
You just
folded.
walk out. It's right there.
You don't even have to go. That's great.
Well, and this is what was so helpful because I have the triplets and
Yes.
you guys saw identical twins in there. One is red and one is green, and they shared a room. And I was so confused before I met you and started to understand the temperaments of why is one completely organized, structured, makes her bed every day, keeps her shoes lined up and perfect, and then the other one, her stuff is everywhere. I just couldn't understand that. And you really helped me understand their innate wiring and that it was maybe a little bit more of my expectations than it was them.
It was
So-
absolutely your expectation because what you have, Jenny, is polar opposites, right? One that's productive and one that even in her own words says, not the quickest to jump in and do something.
Yes.
True. But she does get things done.
She does.
Just on her own time frame,
Yes.
right? So expectations are huge. We have to consider the child's wiring before we put expectations on them.
Sure.
And that is so important because what we have a tendency to do as adults is we put our expectations on them.
Yeah.
And when we do that, we're not considering the child's wiring first, and it usually doesn't end well.
Right. No.
So understanding the child's wiring first is going to help with the expectations of them.
Well, and that doesn't mean you help me think through. That doesn't mean that she should just be messy all the time.
No, not at all.
It was the right way to approach that in the conversation and how to speak to her in a way that she can hear the need for the room to be picked up.
Right. She literally speaks in a different language.
Yeah.
Actually a different language than her identical twin.
Yes.
Right? So it's learning those languages.
Absolutely.
For example, your red's productive. She's task-oriented, so she's going to do things to be efficient, right? That does not mean your green isn't capable. She's just looking through a different lens. So we have to go to what the green's interested in order to motivate them. So for example, for her, she may be very interested, because she's people-oriented, in having a friend over. So it literally makes more sense to her to have a clean room, to have the friend over.
Right.
Because just in general, to have the clean room, she's going to get back in the bed
That's
anyway.
exactly
right?
what she says.
So,
Yes.
So why does it need to be made, right?
Right.
So it's just learning the language and learning how to motivate them within their own set of strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah, and that's been so helpful. Such a
Yes.
game changer for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so you have helped me so much, and I want you to be able to share the tips. So for any grown-up that interacts with kids that's listening, what are some next steps or tips that you could share?
And Jenny, I wouldn't even say that this is just grown up to children. This is communication in general.
Yeah.
The first thing we have to do, and I say this all the time, is to pause. We've got to take that breath because the words you use are the words you choose.
Yes.
So pause. Listen to understand. Most people listen to reply.
Yes.
And then you're missing what the people are actually saying, right? So you pause, you listen to understand. Then we want to validate.
Yeah.
We want to make that paradigm shift and know that we're speaking in the other language. And that's exactly for speak their language.
Yeah.
Speak so they can hear you. And then Every single conversation will be different.
Well, and you've helped me with this so much with my red daughter of validating her. So let's talk through that just a little bit, or give an example of how I could validate her and then speak her language to be able to communicate better.
Well, for example, what you want to do is, you want to pause and you want to listen to understand. And let's just say you overhear her standing up for a friend, because that's something your red daughter would do. So then you listen to understand, and then you say, wow, that took so much courage. I really admire you for doing that. Show me how you did that. Let me know what you were thinking, because I would have never thought that way. You really got that done quickly. That was very admirable.
Okay.
And that's a great way to speak your red's language.
Yeah.
Right?
Which I'm still learning. It's a work in process.
Yes.
But the other thing that I love that you say is it's never too late.
Never too
late. That we learn this when we hear it, and you can never unhear it.
That's right.
And we can start today with practical tips on how to speak their language and how to pause.
Yes.
Your wiggly child that drives you crazy. Pause. They're wired that way.
Exactly.
And so before you get on to them about wiggling too much, it's, hey, another tip you gave me was like, go wiggle outside, get some of that energy out there. And when you come in, we need to not run around the house or jump over the couch.
That's exactly right, because that wiggly child grows up to be a wiggly adult. So just say that you're a yellow adult and you cannot get your mind around how your blue child can sit at home all weekend reading a book.
Yes.
Right? Or maybe you're that red productive adult that was like your 14-month-old, right? And you're looking at that person just chatting away and going, oh my gosh, do they ever get anything done except talk?
Right.
So again, this goes throughout your lifetime. So learning it now and applying it, it will help you be the best version of yourself.
Okay, well, the next part that you taught me has been my favorite, and has actually been the thing that has changed the dynamics in our household more than anything else, and that is the child's innate needs and how their innate needs inform everything. So let's talk through some of that.
Well, the innate needs of a child informs their behavior.
Yes.
And really, the innate needs are what separates me from a lot of other assessments out there, because what I teach is it's a way to communicate others focused, right? So the innate needs are game changers. They are like food and water. You are filling these innate needs from the time you're born.
Yeah.
So each temperament has their own set of innate needs, and you are trying to fill these constantly every day.
Yeah.
And so what we're trying to do is get people to learn what the innate needs are, and then to realize, are they filling these needs with their strengths or their weaknesses?
Yes.
This is where the influence of an adult over a child comes. But you have to start with yourself.
Right.
So each temperament has their own set of innate needs. So let's start again with the sanguine yellow. That is acceptance, attention, approval, and affection. Each of them have their own definitions that I've collected over the years, but you'll have your own once you get this language. But start there. Start with the definitions that are in the book. And why that's important, Jenny, is you've been trying to do this.
Yeah.
So you have a definition of what approval means to you, right? The one that I hear is that to be liked for who you are without needing to change.
Right.
How does that feel?
Yeah, that's very true. And I think the thing that I learned from you is that the definitions may change over time of what that means, but those innate needs, those 4 things, whether you're a 5-year-old sanguine or whether you're a 40-year-old woman, older, that those needs are still the same regardless of age. It's just the definition that may evolve.
The definition evolve is exactly. It'll always be similar. But again, we have experts that are going to help us understand this. And I think, again, you might recognize her.
Yep, let's
watch.
check it out.
I love being the center of attention. Like, I love getting on the middle of a stage, like, in front of a bunch of people, making a fool out of myself. Like, I love when people give me attention. But, like, I feel like the people who are closest with me and know me the most, and, like, instead of just giving me attention, it's more important to have eye contact and be like, hey, like, listen to me. Like, listen to what I have to share with you. I would say is more important with the people I'm closest with.
Yeah. So what do you find yourself doing to get attention?
I find myself doing a lot of things, whether that's video making or playing sports or like hanging out with friends. I love making videos personally.
Yeah, tell me about that.
Just, everyone has their own things that they do or things that bring them joy, but for a while, like, I make these videos on Instagram or sometimes TikTok where people will be like, hey, like this made my day. Like it's really cool, like to get like there's millions of people in this world like on social media, like that's taking over like everything we do today. And like for people to scroll like and you to get their attention to stop and watch your video and for them to be like, whoa, like something's different about that person. Like what makes them think those certain things, like that's like huge to me of just being able to get one person to look at something.
Okay. So that was great. And this is one of the triplets,
Yes,
right?
it is. Yes. And so we share our innate needs of yellow, sanguine. And it has been interesting when we started meeting with you of seeing how her need for attention and my need for attention, though that feels, I almost kind of don't want that to be one of my innate needs. It feels like needy, whiny in a sense. But I understand what she's saying in there and feel that myself. But my other girls at the dinner table, specifically my red daughter, would just be like, be quiet, sit down. We don't need to hear all about your day.
Yes.
And so being able to articulate and her understanding what her sister's needs are, it's not that she has to dominate the conversation.
Right.
It's just that she wants that focus, that eye contact.
She's excited to tell the story,
Yes.
right? And I'm not even gonna just say that attention sounds needy. What I hear in the office is all the yellow innate needs sound needy.
Right.
But again, they are.
Yeah.
They're your innate needs.
Yeah.
So it's really, that's why the definitions are so critically important because what attention doesn't necessarily mean being the center of attention. What it truly means is that what your daughter was looking for was your full focus and eye contact. That's what she was hoping to get from her sister.
Right.
As she told her stories, because one of her strengths is she's a great storyteller.
Yeah.
Right? So again, understanding between the two of them, the innate needs, that helps prevent that dulling of the sparkle.
Yes.
And then your yellow can look back at the red and show her loyalty, which we're going to talk about next.
Yeah,
and
let's
say, what about your story?
Yeah.
Right? So let's talk about the reds.
Yeah, let's do.
Okay. So the red's innate needs are loyalty, sense of control, appreciation, and credit for work. And you can see right off the bat, those sound a little more task-oriented,
Yes.
right? They're looking to get things done. So again, unchangeable. They're trying to fill these since they were little. You have that small red child, even as a child, they're dragging that chair twice their size over to the pantry to get a snack.
Yeah.
Because why? They're independent. They're making a decision. You know, no need for mom's help. So even when they're that small, these innate needs are going to surface.
Yeah.
But again, let's watch some of our friends tell us a little bit more about the red innate needs.
Let's do it.
What if it's not getting done? Like, what happens?
I do not do well when things are not getting done.
Yeah.
So that's a little hard.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where, I mean, it can be down to the last minute and that will drive me absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
But it's gonna get done.
How does it get done?
Either I do it or I hound someone until they do it.
Oh, yeah? What does the hounding look like?
It is definitely probably not the best way to motivate people.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things that I see something that needs to be done and I'm like, okay, we got to do this. And it's just for example, like I had a big thing that I was having for our thespian society because I'm the president. And so, yes. Yeah. And so it was one of those things I was like, okay, I need this from everybody. I needed all of your point system. I get 2 people respond. I'm like, okay, I need this by this deadline, knowing I'm gonna get it 2 days later. I set it up so I would get it by this deadline. A day later, past the deadline passes. I've gotten 3 out of 7 people. Another reminder goes out saying, if you do not get it to me, this is not going out. All of you are aware of this, correct? I get 1 more person, and it gets down to the point where I don't get people. I'm gonna go with what I got.
Yeah, you just move on. Yeah, because you feel like you've given them every opportunity.
Absolutely.
You find out that one of your friends said something behind your back.
Like, what would I do?
Yeah.
Well, I would know that to, like, never trust him again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really believe in second chances with trust because it takes a long time to earn. I mean, I would probably go to them first and just straight up be like, yo, did you say this? And then if I know it for a fact or they tell me, then I just put in the back of my head, okay, you can't trust them.
I would rather have you loyal to me when I'm not around rather than when you are, when I am around you.
Oh, okay.
That is something that, I mean, in a small school, word gets around very, very fast.
Okay.
And so I hear the things that I hear good and bad, what people say about some of the things I do, and it's just, I would rather, it really hurts my feelings when I hear someone, they're like, oh, she's my best friend and I love everything she does, and then I hear from someone else that they're like, oh, yeah, she's not that great, or she does something like that, and that's where that really hits me.
Yeah. And how do you deal with that? Like, what if that's an exact scenario happened?
My walls definitely go up.
Yeah.
I'm a person that it takes a while to let my walls down and let you actually see the emotional side of me and all this stuff. And it's one of those things that if they get almost down and something like that, I hear something like that, my walls go straight back up.
Okay, so watching that video again reminds me exactly of what you helped me with when Addie didn't tell the truth about something and I was struggling. And we remembered her in that video talking about trust and how if it happens, her walls go up and then she remembers never to trust somebody again.
That's right.
And we actually used her words and showed her that to kind of explain how hurt I was.
Yes.
And it was an immediate aha moment for her. She immediately got it. And it changed our whole conversation.
Well, again, this is where pause is really a skill I want everybody to learn, because before we discipline or before we punish, we want to stop and make that connection between behavior and innate needs. Because really what you and I talked about, I remember that vividly, is that this is a loyalty thing for your daughter. You know, and when loyalty is attacked, that Reds check the box.
Right.
They are the most loyal of friends, but they absolutely expect that in return. And that's what we saw with Addie. Right?
Absolutely. So it was very helpful.
Yes.
So, well, let's go on to our blues.
Sure.
So let's talk about their
So the
needs.
blues, they also have their own set of innate needs. The innate needs for the blue are safety, sensitivity, support, space, and silence. I'm a blue.
Yes.
I get this. I get every one of them. The definitions are dead on correct, right? And again, let's watch some of the blues. It's Sawyer. I love this kid, and he articulates it beautifully.
Let's take a look.
Okay.
Do you worry about anything?
I do.
Tell me what you worry about.
Sometimes, it's especially gas stations.
Really?
Whenever we go to gas stations and one of my parents or something like that is going into the station to get something,
Okay.
I worry about them because gas stations are very sketchy.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you're concerned for their
I
safety?
am concerned, yes.
Yeah. So if they didn't come out for a little bit, what would you do?
I would stay put because I have to make sure that they're safe.
Okay.
And if there's a lot of people in there, I wouldn't go in case there is some issue because I think that they can handle themselves.
Yeah. That the safety thing's big, huh?
It is.
What do you think about like big crowds or noise or anything?
I'm not a big fan of noise.
Yeah.
I like it quiet. I like a quiet space where I can just be free and not have anybody else to tell me what to do.
Yeah. And what about crowds? Like, you know, I mean, you just said space. I guess I mean, what about noise and chaos?
I deal with noise every day. Our class is called the Zoo Crew.
Really? Mm-hmm. So how's that land with you?
Not great.
Yeah?
The only reason that most kids in my class don't finish their work is because they're talking.
Really? And what are you doing?
I'm working.
Yeah.
I try and zone out.
You just try to block them right out when you're doing that?
I try and get the back of the class.
Oh, really? And because that's
the safest, really, because everybody wants the front because they can see. I think the back is better.
Okay. And so you do what's best, right?
Gosh, he is so great. So tell me, as a blue adult, are
Yes.
gas stations sketchy for you?
They can be a little sketchy.
They can be. Okay.
You know, we have to trust that surrounding. I mean, safety's a real deal for a blue. And that's why I want adults to know that blues are going to have that Are they safe? Is the relationship safe? Is the environment safe before they really step in?
Yeah.
That's why I always cringe when I hear stories about parents pushing blue children onto a playground where it's strangers to them, right? So we want to know that. We want to know that, you know, safety is a big deal.
Well, and another thing, as a yellow mom with a blue child, I'm like, go, 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 go.
Yes.
And that space and silence is so crucial for them that it helped me know not to push for the activity so much.
Exactly.
And that they actually need that downtime.
Yeah, just some processing time.
Yeah.
You know, and then they're, again, if it's something they're interested in,
Sure.
they'll be all in. In fact, they'll do all the research about it, right?
that's right.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's move on to our greens. Tell us about the phlegmatics.
Well, you know, I'm married to a kind phlegmatic green.
Yes.
You know, I've had that no sense of urgency for 33 years, right?
Oh, yeah.
So that no sense of urgency comes from the green's innate needs. Their needs are harmony, feeling of worth, lack of stress, and respect. And what I really want us to know and understand is that these words on these charts are very intentional, because sometimes these green children, they're so kind and so quiet, they can fall through the cracks. But let's watch that with some of our green friends.
Let's do it.
What stresses you out?
Home-wise, conflict. And if there's any, like, I can, like, feel the tension. I'm like, oh, no, I have to go up and read.
Probably like people having conflict, drama, people being mad at me.
Okay. What stresses you out most?
My siblings. When I'm trying to watch TV, they're always like screaming and wrestling across the floor.
What about if you hear your sisters arguing in another room? Is that stressful?
Sometimes when my mom says, do this, they're like, you do it, you do it. I just do it so the argument could stop.
Yeah. What if people around you, all of a sudden, they are just at each other?
Well, I'll try and step in and like calm each other down and like see like where they're coming from and stuff like that.
You just don't fight with your friends?
Even if we do, I try to like end it as soon as possible.
Because?
I don't want to like have like tension between me and my friends.
Yeah. Do you feel like you get respect at your house?
Not so much.
Yeah.
Just because they were so used to me being like the peacemaker and just being like, okay, fine, like I'll get the short end of the stick as long as you are happy with like your side. And so they just got used to that.
Since I'm the middle sibling, it's always my older brother and my younger sister who are best friends, and I get pushed out of the way.
Do they even hear you?
Nope.
Nope.
So I don't feel very respected then, but I kind of just deal with it.
Yeah. How do you deal with it?
Ignore it.
Oh, our sweet greens.
I know. He just wants to ignore it. And that's so important because that's what we want. That is that no sense of urgency. And what I even love that we talked about is they appear lazy, but they're not really lazy. They just work in their own time frame.
Right.
And that's okay.
Well, and once they know their strengths and weaknesses and they know their needs, I feel like the idea of them advocating for themselves and speaking up, they actually become more confident to do so.
Exactly.
Which has been so helpful.
Yes, exactly.
So one of my favorite sentences that you've ever told me was, Jenny, every word you use is a word you choose. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Well, and that's exactly right. With everybody, you know, you choose the words that are out. You either are hurting or helping people. And when you're talking about children, the words you choose to use are either going to build them up or it's going to tear them down. Actually, that's with every conversation, right? And you know, I have a yellow child as well. And I can remember her just wanting to bring joy and inspire the neighborhood. So she's dressing up as Elmo, pushing an Elmo stroller, having Elmo in the stroller. And I'm mortified as a blue for her safety, you know, and her sensitivity and where she's going. But she wants to go door to door and bring joy to the neighborhood. Oh, gosh. So again, I have to see through her eyes and watch her go. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I hope the person answers. I hope they don't slam the door in her face. I'm nervous. I'm afraid. And she goes to the first door, they smile at her, she goes to the next one, and then she comes back.
She's done.
And I was like, you're back. And she's like, well, I did it. Like I brought joy to the neighborhood, right? So again, it's me looking at her and go, you did bring joy to the neighborhood. You really did have them smile instead of transferring or putting my expectations and going, no, that's too dangerous. You know, I don't know if they're, you know, I don't know our neighbors. I can't have you out of my sight, or, you know, putting some of the worry and fear of the blue onto my daughter.
Yeah.
Right? So it's so important to know, am I building her up or am I tearing her down? For the reds.
Yeah, let's talk about the
Yeah,
reds,
you
because
have
they're
a
very
red.
strong, and sometimes they want to be in charge of even the house, or sometimes I wonder if my child is in charge of me.
Yes.
By the way she talks to me
Yeah.
sometimes.
And again, that's your child, that's the one we talked about,
Yeah.
that's decisive in doing things. And when they're doing that, and sometimes you're busy, what might you have a tendency to say?
Don't do that. Stop.
Right. And what do you think that happens to a...
Well, I've seen it happen. Then
Yeah.
it just amps her up even more to go accomplish what
Yeah,
she
that
wanted
means
to
go
start.
do it
Yeah.
to a red, right? So instead of that, what are words? That's what we want to do, that pause. What are words that would build her up instead? Maybe it's, oh my gosh, that was so, I admire how decisive you were. You really made an independent decision. Tell me about your decision making.
Yeah.
I would love your opinion on that. Like, I want to see how you came up with that. The fact that you did that and you showed them those innate needs of appreciation and credit for work and loyalty,
Yeah.
then they're going to be, well, this is what I had planned, Mom.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
now they may delegate it to the sisters once they get the approval from you, right?
Right.
But again, it's just choosing those words carefully, right?
Absolutely. Well, tell us about our blues, because they're sensitive. And so I have found myself, it's very easy to squash
Yeah.
their little hearts. And so what is a great way that we can redirect them in a positive way?
Well, again, one of my favorite examples of this, and this is actually a story of me.
Yeah.
Because when I was young, I would not want the teacher to call on me for I can remember specifically there was going to be a spelling bee that just came up that day. It was like, first of all, impromptu. Blues do not like the word impromptu. So, but I knew I was one of the best spellers in the room, but I did not want her to call on me because I wasn't prepared. I did not want to be embarrassed in front of my friends. I thought I may fail, right? And the words that were said to me were like fiery arrows because I was told, don't worry, you'll be fine. You know, just do it. Okay, none of those fill sensitivity or support or safety to a blue. So what would have built me up instead might have been, I can see that you're nervous about this. Tell me what you're thinking. I would love to help you prepare or see if this is the right thing for you. The decision is ultimately yours.
Yeah.
That would have changed the whole scenario for me, right? So again, are we helping or are we hurting?
Yeah.
And we can change it every time.
Yeah. Well, and it's a process. We
Yes.
learn, we evolve.
Yes.
It's like I need the tips all the time in front of me to be able to
Exactly.
use the right words to build them up.
Because it is like learning a different language, right? And that's where once we hear about the temperaments, application is what's going to make you fluent.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to make us all the best versions of ourselves.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely. Let's go to our greens,
Yeah.
because you know I've struggled with my green at times. The most kind,
Yeah.
but also the hardest to get moving. And so I can be sharp at times when I need something done. So
And then what might that sound like?
yeah, it would get going. I've told you 10 times. It's time right now. Do it.
And what do you think with those words are happening in your daughter's...
I'm stressing her out. She'll tell me, I'm totally stressed out.
And she's digging her heels in more,
Yes.
okay? Because again, that's going directly against those innate needs.
Right.
So really, maybe looking back at what they were successful in and saying to them, oh my gosh, thank you for being so flexible. I know you're gonna get this done. Honestly, if everybody in the world was as kind as you, we would live in a great place.
Yes.
Thank you for doing that.
Yes, well, and you taught me with her as well, they are people oriented, so to come alongside her.
Sure.
Like her just having to sign up for the ACT and figure out all that stuff was completely stressing her out. But
Yes.
when she could bring her computer right next to me and we could do it together, or at least I got her started, I ended up walking away and she was totally fine.
It's not that they're incapable.
No.
All the temperaments are capable. All of them can do, none of them are put in a box, but they're all gonna do things through their own wiring, right? And what we do wanna influence everybody, especially children, is we do not use our temperament as a weapon or as an excuse.
Yes.
Right?
Definitely not.
Yeah.
Well, this has been so helpful. I mean, you've helped me over the years. I know you've helped the audience, and we want to leave you with a video that really shows the importance of this and how choosing our words can make a big difference. So take a look.
Take one.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. I'm so glad to see you. At your house, what do you hear your mom and dad saying most often?
Get off the couch. Come over and do the dishwasher. Oh, go clean your room. Oh, hurry up, hurry up. And you need to do your laundry. I'm not warning you again.
Be quiet.
Why?
Because we're really loud. Who took this? Who ate that? Why'd you do this? Why'd you do that?
You're being distracting.
Yeah.
Like, I need you to tone it down.
Clean your room, do your chores.
My dad says no. That's like all I hear.
Okay. And what's your
mom says like, hurry up. What have you done productive today?
To unload the dishwasher, to clean the table, to wash the dishes.
Remember to bring your lacrosse stuff to lacrosse practice.
Clean up your desk.
How did you not find that? It was right there.
What's the nicest thing somebody's ever said to you?
I'm funny, and my teacher says I have a good imagination.
Someone said I had like a really nice personality
Mm-hmm.
and that I can be really respectful.
Your smile's contagious.
One of my friends said like, you're the best person in the world.
Really? How did that make you feel?
Like somebody really cared about me.
Yeah.
My coach, I love him because even if we don't win or don't have a good game, he'll be like, you guys did good, and he'll tell us what we did best and what we need to work on.
I like hearing good things about myself from someone else.
Yeah. Has anybody ever said anything that hurt your feelings?
You're so obnoxious.
Really?
All the time. I hear that maybe once a day. Those little comments stick with me all the time.
Someone at my school said I wasn't good at like a certain sport we were doing for PE. It made me feel kind of sad and that I should stop trying it.
This kid said I was a waste of life.
Oh, really?
It's just no one's a waste of life, in my opinion.
That's right. What's the very favorite thing your mom and dad have said to you?
That they're proud of me.
Yeah.
They said you're gonna do great things one day.
I love when my mom and dad like say I'm awesome and cool and like they love me.
I like to hear like good job, well done, congratulations, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think it's I love you.
Really?
I really like that.
My mom says I'm special sometimes.
Yeah.
And my dad says I'm a really hard worker.
Well, that must make you feel very valuable.
It does.
She says like I'm beautiful, smart, pretty, and stuff.
Yeah.
Makes me feel nice and makes me feel more confident and positive.
My mom always tells me that like I'm the most determined, so that's always stuck with me. Like if I have a project, I just remember like I'm the most determined one. Like, if I actually want to get this done, I can do it.
My dad tells me very frequently, and my mom tells me this a lot too, I'm glad you are my son. I just love that.
If that doesn't give us motivation as parents, right? To just be so careful with our words to build them up. So
children are the purest in their temperament until the world starts telling them differently.
Yeah.
So they're going to say exactly what's in their heart.
Yes.
Right?
Thank you so much for
You're
being
welcome.
with us. You have taught me so much personally.
Thank
So
you.
I'm excited to be able to share your new book. It just
you.
came out. So A Grown-Up's Guide to Kids Wiring is Kathleen's new book. It gives you a ton of tips and tricks. And literally the whole back half gives you the exact things to say and not to say to the yellows and the reds and the blues and the greens in your life. So you can pick this up on Amazon, and the website below will also have a link to it. So we thank you for joining us, and we hope that you will now use the right words and the best words to build up the kids in your life. Thanks for joining us.